Ladies and gentlemen, what if the greatest tragedy in life is not failing to achieve your dreams, but failing to recognize your own worth? What if the reason so many people feel exhausted, overlooked, and unhappy is not because the world refuses to value them, but because they have forgotten how to value themselves? Think about that for a moment. How many times have you sacrificed your happiness just to keep someone else comfortable? How many times have you said yes when every part of your heart wanted to say no? How many opportunities have you allowed to pass simply because you believed you weren't ready, smart enough, talented enough, or worthy enough? The truth is that countless people spend their entire lives asking one silent question: am I enough? They ask it through their relationships, through their careers, through social media, through achievements, through money, through the approval of strangers. Yet no amount of applause can silence insecurity if it already lives within. Ladies and gentlemen, your relationship with yourself is the foundation of every other relationship in your life. If you don't respect yourself, you will struggle to expect respect from others. If you don't believe in yourself, every criticism will feel like proof that you're not enough. If you don't value yourself, you will constantly search for someone else to tell you your value. And that search never ends. Because true worth cannot be given to you. It can only be discovered within you. Imagine holding a priceless painting in your hands. Now imagine placing it in a room where no one understands art. Some people may ignore it, some may criticize it, some may even laugh at it. Does the painting lose its value? Of course not. Its value never depended on the opinions of those who couldn't recognize it. You are no different. There will always be people who misunderstand your dreams. There will always be people who fail to appreciate your kindness. There will always be people who cannot see your potential. Do not allow their blindness to become your belief. Ladies and gentlemen, many of us were taught from a young age to seek approval. We were praised when we pleased others. We feared making mistakes. We worried about disappointing people. Slowly, without realizing it, we began measuring our worth by external reactions. We became addicted to validation. A compliment lifted us. A criticism crushed us. A success made us feel valuable. A failure made us question ourselves. But your value cannot rise and fall with circumstances. Your value is constant. It has always been constant. The challenge is not becoming worthy. The challenge is remembering that you already are. One of the greatest freedoms you will ever experience is the day you stop asking, "What do they think about me?" and start asking, "What do I think about myself?" That single question changes everything, because the opinions you hold about yourself quietly shape every decision you make. If you believe you deserve happiness, you pursue it. If you believe you deserve respect, you protect your boundaries. If you believe you are capable, you take courageous action. Your beliefs become your reality. Ladies and gentlemen, self-worth is not arrogance. Arrogance says, "I am better than you." Self-worth says, "I don't need to be better than anyone to know I matter." There is a profound difference. People with genuine confidence don't compete to prove their value. They simply live it. They celebrate the success of others because they are no longer threatened by it. They speak with kindness because they no longer need to feel superior. They walk with humility because they understand that everyone has value. When you truly value yourself, comparison begins to disappear. Imagine a beautiful garden filled with roses, lilies, sunflowers, and oak trees. None of them compete. The rose does not wish to become the sunflower. The oak tree does not compare itself to the lily. Each grows according to its own nature. Each fulfills its own purpose. Nature never compares. It simply grows. Perhaps we should do the same. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the greatest ways we betray ourselves is by ignoring our own inner voice. Deep inside, you often know what is right. You know when a relationship is unhealthy. You know when a dream deserves another chance. You know when fear is keeping you small. Yet many people silence that voice because they fear judgment. They choose comfort over truth. But every time you ignore your intuition, you move further away from yourself. Learning to value yourself means learning to trust yourself. Trust your wisdom. Trust your experience. Trust your heart. You may not always be right, but you will always grow. And growth is far more valuable than perfection. Ladies and gentlemen, another expression of self-worth is learning to set boundaries. Many people confuse boundaries with selfishness, but boundaries are not walls. They are doors. You decide who enters. You decide what stays. You decide what no longer belongs in your life. Every time you allow disrespect because you fear losing someone, you send yourself a painful message that your peace is less important than their approval. Your peace deserves protection. Your energy deserves protection. Your dreams deserve protection. Not everyone deserves unlimited access to your heart. Some people come into your life to encourage you. Others come to teach you what you must no longer accept. Learn the difference and have the courage to walk away when necessary. Ladies and gentlemen, there will always be moments when life tests your confidence. You will experience rejection, failure, disappointment, loss, but those moments do not determine your value. A diamond remains a diamond even when buried beneath the earth. Its surroundings never change its worth. The same is true for you. Never confuse your circumstances with your identity. You may fail at something, but you are not a failure. You may lose something, but you have not lost your worth. You may be rejected, but you are not unworthy of love. Life happens. Your value remains. Another powerful truth is gratitude. When you appreciate who you are instead of constantly focusing on who you are not, your life begins to change. Gratitude shifts your attention from scarcity to abundance. It reminds you of your strengths instead of your weaknesses. It teaches you to celebrate progress instead of demanding perfection. And perfection has never been the goal. Growth is. Ladies and gentlemen, imagine waking up every morning with one simple promise. Today, I will treat myself with the same kindness I offer to others. Today, I will stop apologizing for taking up space. Today, I will trust my journey. Today, I will protect my peace. Today, I will believe that I am enough. Imagine repeating those promises every day. Slowly, your confidence would grow. Your relationships would improve. Your decisions would become clearer. Because the way you see yourself shapes the way you experience the world. The world often teaches you to chase more money, more success, more recognition. But perhaps the greatest achievement is learning to wake up each morning already knowing your value. Nothing outside you can replace that peace. Nothing outside you can give you what only self-respect can provide. Ladies and gentlemen, if there is one message I hope you remember long after today, it is this: never abandon yourself in order to be accepted. Never shrink your dreams to make other people comfortable. Never question your worth because someone else failed to recognize it. You were born with value. You were born with purpose. You were born with gifts that no one else can offer in exactly the same way. Honor those gifts. Protect your peace. Trust your heart. Choose yourself not from selfishness, but from self-respect. Because when you value yourself first, you no longer chase approval. You attract healthy relationships. You make courageous decisions. You discover inner peace. You become free from comparison. And you begin living the life you were always meant to live. Remember this timeless truth: the moment you truly recognize your own worth is the moment the world begins to see it too. Value yourself first. Everything else will grow from there. Thank you.